What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tricentennial TV, to the Power Producer Podcast. This week we have an entrepreneur on. She's based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to hear her transition from being a kindergarten teacher to be one of the most successful businesswomen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay, guys, here she is, Casey Styers. Like I told you in our intro, she was a kindergarten teacher. Now she's become a highly successful real estate agent and entrepreneur in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, Casey, tell us a little bit about yourself and how that transition was from kindergarten to where you are right now and what you're doing.
It's always funny when you say from kindergarten. Well, if you would go back that far. So I taught school for 13 years, 1 year in first, when the remainder was in kindergarten. And I decided my last year, between the politics and just everything going on with the school system and the pay rate, I was already working 4 jobs, working 7 days a week. There's got to be something else out there. And one of my other jobs I was working for, he was a businessman, entrepreneur. He was a teacher actually previously, and he owned multiple businesses. And I was working for him. I was like, I don't know if I want to do the business route, but they've got to be something else out there. So the whole time I was teaching, I was kind of always keeping that door open. I did a biology minor, thinking maybe I would do nursing or something in that route. And then I met Adam, and he's like, why don't you do real estate? My other friend, Joe, does insurance. So I got my insurance license first, realized that was not my cup of tea at all. And I know, Trey, it's funny. I still hold that license, actually.
Very
It was
nice.
just, when it's your niche and when you're good at something. Yeah. And it's not even about being about good. It's about enjoying waking up every day and not looking forward to weekends, actually enjoying your weekdays and enjoying what you're doing. And that's how you're where you should be. So I went to do my real estate exam. I'm not even going to lie about how many times it took me. It took me 5 to get through. I'm not a good test taker. And graduated top of my class and everything, but test just never was my thing all through school and everything. Just not my cup of tea. No resemblance on what kind of agent I had became. So when I passed my exam, it was February 15th of 2015. I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And meanwhile, while I was working on that, I had spoke with different companies and different real estate firms and stuff. And keep in mind, I'm still teaching while I'm doing this. I was teaching and swimming and going to real estate school at night and tutoring also. I tutored 3 different students. So I passed and I was like, I'm ready to do this. I have my line built out, just like one of the girls I decided I was going to work with, Angie Cole.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And she said, build your sphere, and kind of help hand me through that. And I started letting people know I had my license. And Adam said, if you can get 1 under contract before you're supposed to go back to the next school year, you can leave teaching. I didn't get 1. Yeah. I got 3. I was like, I am not leaving no rock unturned.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to make sure that I'm secure. And that's been the biggest thing if you're a teacher is, you've got that pay raise. And after 5 years, you've got tenure, your job's secure.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing every year, and it's the same problems, and it's the same struggles. And I was in that group where the first year teachers got a raise, people getting ready to retire got a raise. And then when they gave us one, it put us in a different tax bracket. So then I made less than what I was making before, believe it or not. So it was just, I was tired of living that life, paycheck to paycheck.
That makes sense.
And Trey, your mom actually was one that used to pick on me because I always wore blazers. And looking back on it now, I knew I was going to do something different. And if you think businesswoman, you think business and entrepreneur, I think blazer.
Yeah, hot pink blazers.
Manifested what I was going to become, and she would always, her and several other friends were just like, you look like you're running for president's wife. Are you going out to run for mayor tonight? Are we going out for campaign? And I was like, you do you, and I'll do me, and we'll see how this turns out. And so far, it's turned out very well. I was able to merge after I got into the real estate world. We own several bars in Raleigh.
Yeah.
So I was able to actually do a few of those deals. And then it turned out the different people I knew in real estate, and it's just spiraled. It's just continued. And it's all about talking to people, getting to know
Yeah.
people. And I know everybody in real estate. You have to find your niche. Some people cold calling, that's their thing. Some people door knocking's their thing.
Oof.
And not mine.
No.
I am pretty much 99% referral, and just building those, touching base with people, talking to people. I mean, connecting with them on social media,
Yeah.
getting to know people and truly becoming their friend, not looking at them as commission breath.
Right.
Like it's,
Ooh, nasty.
yeah, it's just one of those things where you make an effort and people will honestly see that your heart and soul's in it, and you're there for
Yeah.
the right reasons. You're there for them, not you at the end of the day.
Makes sense.
And being a teacher, it was easy to carry over into this world because I already had a consistent schedule. And my biggest thing was I had to find one thing that I could consistently do every week at the same time. And then I built my schedule around that.
That makes
And I
sense.
feel like that was the biggest thing for me. That, and I found 10X Grant Cardone. One of my first years, I
Big
went
guy.
to a 10X conference, and it was life changing. The people I met,
The energy in those rooms is just through the roof.
it's amazing. And just
Yeah.
hearing Sarah Blakely, she was one of the people that spoke, and she talked about going to a camp and how everybody, she had to jump off this thing and grab this rope. And if you didn't, you fell into water. And she was one of the only people that did it, but she aimed higher and everybody else was aiming right at the target. And that's the big thing. Every year I set my targets, and I set them higher and higher every year.
I
Because
like that.
if you aim for average, you're always just going to be average. But if you aim for higher, you're going to get higher. So that was something that stuck with me. So that and the book Ravens fans I read. So both of them were
pretty good.
Yeah.
So it took you 5 times to pass your test. Did that discourage
That's
you
what
at
you
all?
got out of all that.
Did that discourage you? I was holding on to that. Did that
No,
discourage you
it
at
did
all?
not. It aggravated me, and I knew it wasn't going to defeat me.
Right. Okay. Because I know a lot of people who I'm working with right now, they're taking their life insurance exam. They maybe didn't pass it the first time or the second time. So keeping them motivated, even for the real estate exam, is hard.
If you
And if you
ask
really
the
have to want
people,
it.
some of your top producers here in Raleigh, they did not pass the first time.
Wow.
Most of the successful people did not. The
Right.
people that did, I don't know if it's luck or they're just amazing test takers, but it gives you that drive going into this hard world. Everybody thinks you just open a door and you show pretty houses all day long.
Right.
Real estate, there's so much more to it than that. And everything going on with NAR right now, I mean, it's just amazing. Like, it just goes back to, it seems like anybody and everybody can sue for anything. And
Right. It doesn't make any
here we
sense.
are. But guess what? Change is good. And it takes me back to when I made the leap from having a consistent paycheck to where I am now, where there's no days off. Yeah,
Right.
I've not felt great the last few days, but guess what? I have still answered my phone. The only day I didn't work was the day I had zero voice. And then, even then, I put together social media things. But it wasn't because it's because I love what I do.
Right.
I truly do.
It gives you that purpose, that passion.
I'm changing people's lives. And when you see some of these first-time home buyers or even these investors, when they make money, I mean, their faces, they'll even give me a smile, as grim as some of them can be.
Yeah.
They'll even smile at you and thank you. I mean, I got a compliment from one of them, and he's one of my toughest clients, but he buys several properties from me a year.
Another thing you mentioned was you do a lot of referrals and stuff. You build great relationships with people. Do you think you got those skills from being a teacher, those interpersonal skills and stuff?
100%. But it's something you grow through your life. Like, I was, believe it or not, growing up, I was very quiet and book study and didn't have that many friends. I was just that girl that held her head down and just did my schoolwork, always wanted to please my parents, needed great grades, needed to get through. And then something happened when I graduated from college, and I turned, hey, I want all the friends in the world. I want to talk to everybody in the world. And it just became natural. So, and my best friend, Matt, he always says, that's your golden ticket to business. Like, you can talk to anybody. You can get yourself on the biggest yacht. You can get yourself on a private, you can talk yourself into anything and everything.
Just got to believe it.
You do. And you've got to go into it with confidence. Like,
Yeah.
even if somebody says no, doesn't mean no forever. I mean, people changes their mind all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, I ate meat for years and now I don't eat it. So, I mean,
Right.
like, things
That's
change.
funny.
People change their mind all the time.
Makes sense. So you said you needed at least one deal before the new school season started,
Uh-huh.
semester. You got three of them. So you hit the ground. Seems like your feet were running. Did you have any big challenges your first few years in the industry?
Yeah, several. I ran on fear and I still run on fear.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't
Wow.
matter. I mean, I've got 8 listings right now and I've got 4 more coming. And it's still every day I'm like, oh, I need more people. I need more people. I need more people. I need more people. Because you never know when things are going to change. And right now, a conference I went to said we are statistically equal to where we were in two. And the people that are working on their business now and getting those listings and rebranding and rechanging and changing with times, those are the people that are going to survive in the
Yep.
next 2 to again. So
The challenges that you
the
faced.
challenges, yes. So I run on fear. Is
Yep.
basically what it is. And
That makes sense.
I know it sounds stupid and a lot of people say don't, but I don't ever want to go back to where I was.
Yeah, I feel you. And that reminded me when you said you run on fear. Literally, I ran track in college, and I was the anchor leg for 4x4, and that's normally reserved for your fastest runner. And I was pretty quick, but I didn't think I was the fastest person on the track. So anytime I got the baton, I knew I was last. I had the team's fate in my hand, running terrified, absolutely terrified that someone was going to catch me from behind.
Uh-huh.
So I always ran my best when I ran from fear. And that's cool that you share that similar experience, and it's going to guide you towards success.
I
More
think
success than you
running's
already
been
have.
a big part. I mean, you were one of the people that came to one of my half marathons. It's one of those
Yeah.
things. Like I accidentally ran a marathon a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Like did not know I was going to run it, and we woke up and we landed ourselves in the middle of it. And at
Yeah.
that point, you look around, and I was ready to quit and call an Uber at one point. I was like, I have not trained for this. I have not ran in years. And this guy was like, this is my 70th marathon, and I'm 79 years old. How do you quit when a 79-year-old man has
Right.
ran 70 of these things? No, Casey, you buck it up and you keep going and you get to the finish line. So that goes into, I mean, did I think I was going to make it? Was I exhausted? Was I tired? Was I worn out? No. But if you think about it in your business world, when you're building your business, it's like running a marathon. You're not trying to run a sprint because the
Right.
sprinter's going to be, but you got to
They're
run
not going to
2 3
adapt when
years.
challenges come.
Yep. I mean, look at
That
the
makes
COVID
sense.
agents. I mean, a lot of people got their license during COVID. It was easy to get it then. And where are they now? Crickets.
Yeah.
So,
Times got hard, interest rates went up, and a lot of people got out.
I mean,
Same
it's,
with like mortgage brokers and stuff like that too. So I saw.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I plan on being here for the long haul until I retire.
Makes sense.
Truthfully, I'll probably be wielding my cane to show houses because I love
Right.
doing it. So, and I mean,
So
we do
how long
flips too.
into sorry, how long into working in real estate, becoming your own boss, becoming an entrepreneur, did you realize you found your passion?
Honestly, it was probably from day one.
Just that
Just
flexibility was the
having that
potential.
flexibility, knowing it took me a minute to realize nobody's telling me I have to be here at this time.
Yeah,
I've got to get up. I've got to make these calls. I've got to
yeah,
touch base. I've got to set these lunch dates. I've got to set these coffee dates. I have to reach out to these people that I don't know. One of my biggest referral partners he's in Charlotte, Andy. He actually just called me. He was somebody I did not know, but he was in Ryan Serhant Pro with me. And we were some of the
wow,
first people when Ryan Serhant drew out. And I got to be honest with you, Ryan Serhant and Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone are a big part of where I am today.
me too. I
And
mentioned Ryan earlier this morning on one of my other videos.
I follow everything he does, and going to that and getting to shake hands with people. Our podcast, we do a podcast on Mondays as well. Hallie and I do. And I mean, getting to go to that event in New York was beyond amazing. And being in the same synergy as Ron Serhant and Josh Altman and people I didn't even know existed. I found this one guy, Aaron Kirkman. He is like the male version of me. It's scary. Like, and he says it best. Like, yeah, blazers make me comfortable. Wearing like
Yeah.
black shirt, that is where I'm comfortable and confident. And that's the biggest thing. Dress how, and Ryan Serhant says that too. And find one person that it makes you feel really good and you feel like, okay, I like what they're doing. It makes me happy watching them. It gives me good energy. They've
Yeah.
got good energy. They're successful. They've already done it. I always said when I was teaching, why are we reinventing the wheel? Just work smarter, not harder. Work
Right.
smarter, not harder. And I mean, that's kind of, I look at what he does. And now one of my mentor, and find a mentor also. Like, find a mentor. I mean,
So that's a key that you would recommend to someone who's just starting out.
and you're going to outgrow your mentor. Most
Yeah,
people do.
I think so too.
You outgrow your friend. There's nothing bad against them, but people give you what they can. And now
Right.
that I finally got accepted into the pro with Ron Serhant and I have a mentor there, that has been life changing for me.
Wow.
So, because
Yeah, that
now
makes
I
sense.
am
So
in suit with
outgrowing a mentor can get you to where they are, but like you said, when times change,
Mhm.
you have to reinvent yourself, adapt, and grow. So sometimes they haven't seen that change or had to make that change
Correct.
before. So that's where that outgrow period
Hmm.
would come from. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. And then placing myself with Ron Serhant, he seems to be way ahead of the wheel at all times.
Yeah, he's a smart
So,
guy.
but it takes time to get to be accepted by one of those mentors, honestly.
Yep.
You have to prove yourself worth and prove yourself.
It makes sense because they don't want you to waste their time.
Mm-mm.
They're so busy that if they are going
And
to
yeah,
take all
you're
this extra
paying
work,
them, but they
yeah,
don't really care because what you're paying them in the big picture is very minimal. So,
nothing. Yeah, it might be a lot to you, but to them, they're like my opportunity cost over here. If you waste my time, see
yep.
you later. You only get one shot at this. So I
Mhm.
am just starting to understand that now, and I'm really not that busy. So when I do become more and more busy, I'll know where I can say no and pass on to go chase a bigger opportunity. So that's
Exactly.
pretty cool. And yeah, Ryan, I like Ryan. I like the cards. They do a lot of big stuff and great energy. They give a lot to the community as well, which is pretty
Yes.
important.
And they're genuine people. Like, I've met them, like,
Yeah,
personally. Elena actually came up to me at the 10X Women's Conference that I went
yeah.
to and was like, "You're just standing here." And I was like, "Yes." She's like, "You're not betting to take a picture." I was like, "Well, I'm trying to do a deal real quick." And I did. I had a big deal I was working at.
Doing more commercial type deals, or are you doing more residential, or
I
is it a
actually go
mix?
commercial in for people I know.
Yeah.
And they sometimes don't move. And you invest a ton of money into them. So
Okay. Is that because there's the market's smaller, or why do you think that is?
I think I mean, if you think about it, you're going to have a business person, mindset person. So it
Yeah.
limits your market.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a house. Not everybody needs a business.
Or a big warehouse or
Mhm.
whatever it might be. Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So it narrows
Okay.
it down even more.
So when you went up to New York for that Sirhan event, did it make you change your goals or aspirations at all?
Um, it opened my eyes to luxury because we
Right.
got to tour a condo
Yeah.
while we were there, and it was phenomenal. And tour like one of the staging stores, and just that conference was different than any other conference because everybody else has tried to teach you something. This one, they were telling their stories. That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I like 10X. They tell their stories and then they give you a nugget. And that's why it was really, really, I don't know. I learned a lot and I came back and changed certain things, and it's making me want to get my book out there so much quicker. So, I mean,
Oh, are you
yeah,
working on a book?
I have written a book. I am
Really?
trying to figure out which direction I'm going with publishing. It's teacher
Yeah.
turned realtor, actually. And
Oh,
it
I
talks
like that.
about pretty much everything we're talking about today. It just goes
Yeah.
more in depth and mentions people that got me to where I am and
Wow. Well, I'm a
how.
big reader, so I'll definitely get a copy once you
Oh, you
release it.
100% will.
I'll bring it back home to North Carolina and be begging for a signature on the inside of the cover.
Yes.
That's
I'll
pretty
send
cool.
you
That's
one with a
special.
signature. How about that? So,
Thanks. So you're looking to publish your book. That's a huge accomplishment. So further congratulations for that. What are your goals going into, let's say, the next 5, 10 years?
5 to 10 years would be, I would love to have not on my direct team, but at least 10 producing agents in my
Yeah.
downline line with EXP, because EXP is real big on like having producing agents under you, not just agents that are
There.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would love to have 10 producing agents that we could all grow and build, like become stronger together. And
Very good. What'd you do last year?
I was at 9.8 million.
Very good. Is that a bad year for you? I know things got hard
That
last
was a
year.
pretty good year for me. The year before, I was transitioning. I started a team, and I had a bunch of those COVID agents, and
Yeah.
I focused on them more than me, and it was a learning curve for me.
Of
It was a
course.
very
You
big
gotta wear a new
learning curve
hat.
on. It's like on the airplane, they say you got to put your life mask on before you
Ooh, I like that.
help anybody else, and that was kind of what I didn't do, and I learned from it. Learned quickly.
Right. Dang, well, that's exciting. You got pretty much 12 listings right now. Big goal of 20 million a year and growing your downline with producing agents. That's exciting. And that's something I've realized too, building my insurance agency as well as wearing my producer hat over here, talking to clients, doing podcasts, making connections, and then wearing my manager hat to build my team up so they can do what I do or even better. So it's cool. It's two hats you got to wear, and definitely a learning curve. Okay, so last two things here. Besides the mentor, do you have any other tips that you would like to give to your downline agents who want to be where you are, or anybody who's out there who is a new agent?
New agent, talk to people. Don't be scared to talk to people. I mean, they're not going to bite you.
They might say no, but
I mean, like I said, no's not always, and they will
right.
remember you. One of my first clients, I was at actually Angie's wedding, walked outside to just take a breather. She was standing on the wall. I introduced myself to her, and now I've helped her, her daughter, her mom.
Wow.
I mean, and she turned out to be almost a $600,000 buyer. That was one of my first deals.
That's great.
Ever did. So, yeah, I mean, just because I decided to say hey to somebody, you never know when that hey is going to turn into something else. So,
especially if you're not just like you said earlier, the commission breath. You're genuinely trying to help people and help them achieve their goals. So I like that. That's super important. So Casey, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have any website, social media, business phone number?
At CB Styers on Instagram, and then www.cbstyers.com. And then my email is casey@cbstyers.com.
Cool. Pretty simple, easy to find you. I'll make sure to put that in the description for YouTube so everybody can find you.
And
Hopefully
stay tuned.
you
I'm
find
going
some more
through
houses too.
Yes, and I'm going through a rebranding too, which I'm super excited about. So that will be launching real soon. So
that'll be exciting as well.
yes.
Good luck for your book. I hope the launch is great there, and I can't wait to read it and get a
And
copy
I'll
for
get you a
myself.
copy. So
Yeah, thank you.
thank you, Trey.